Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gents around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to League of Tilt. Today, we are Mordekaiser in the jungle. Our composition was looking fairly AD heavy until our mid laner locked in Fizz, and I didn't know if he was going to do that, if he was going to pick something random like Yasuo or Talon, and that would have made us all of 1 damage profile. That actually wouldn't have mattered very much this game because turns out they ended up going 5 squishies, so nobody's really even going to stack resistances. So, yikes. But nonetheless, Mordekaiser is still a fun, tanky champion to play in the jungle that can deal a good amount of damage. And when I say he's fun, I don't mean he's just like, oh, you can cheese and you can get health. He's genuinely strong. He has a very, very fast clear. Because of his passive, it gets bonus damage to monsters and it deals max HP damage. And because of his Q's bonus damage against isolated targets, he has very strong dueling potential. Not many junglers can 1v1 Mordekaiser. So he's a very good choice for when you want somebody in the jungle who can fight and still is relatively tanky. And tanky is good this game because they have a lot of champions that rely on bursting you down. Of course, with Mordekaiser, he has essentially, well, not exactly a set W. Set W is like the most broken thing in existence. But he has like a little bit of a set thing going on with his W. And that sort of should let me survive most bursts, especially if I build slightly tankier this game, which I'm very much planning to do. I think I might actually even build a turbo chem tank this game, because I think my biggest problem this game is just going to be catching up to people. So a chem tank, I think, would do wonders in that department. Quick rundown of Mordekaiser's abilities. My Q is my Mace Smash, Nightfall, like so. It used to be called Mordekaiser's Mace is Nightfall. Obliterate is the name of the ability. This is Death's Grasp. E, it's essentially like a Darius / Swain pull. It's just pull people. Your W, you store damage that you take as gray health. Well, not gray health. There's a bar under your health that essentially tracks how much damage you take, and then you store that amount of damage, and then you can reactivate your shield to heal for that amount. So given that the shield starts decaying after a while, what you really want to do is you auto attack and you auto attack and you deal damage, and then you use up the shield to tank 2 auto attacks, and then you heal, because after you've tanked 2 auto attacks is when it's going to start to decay. Okay, so this game, our gankable lanes are really going to be I think mostly bot lane, and the reason for that is there's a Zed in the mid lane, and Zed is a stupidly mobile champion. It's very hard to gank a Zed because he can just W away under his tower usually, or up a river. And as a Mordekaiser, you don't really have any gap closers. Flashing doesn't help, generally speaking, because of course Zed just W's back to his original positions, unless you have good coordination with your teammates, which, of course, most of the time, you know, you won't. Oh, okay. I was very confused as to where this was. We'll use the obliterate here. So normally you don't have to worry about your cooldowns. In this particular case, we are worrying about our cooldowns because in the early game, your Nightfall is still relatively long, and it's one of your largest sources of damage. Now, this is a bad jungle matchup for us. There we go. Okay, Kindred's here. This is much as expected because, of course, it's her mark. Kindred will always want to take her mark. I'm just going to recall and I'll full sequence again, and I'll be back in time for my jungle to respawn. I'm going to grab this blasting wand here. I will have an EXP lead on the Kindred because I have cleared 1 more camp than she has. Depending on which camp, it could be a very significant EXP lead. Like if she hasn't cleared her Krugs, they're one of the highest EXP granting. So once you get a blasting wand, your clear becomes very, very fast, because your passive scales off of AP. This is not good. Maybe he'll be okay. Okay, it's fine. Also, when you're pulling people with your E, you should throw out your Q just like a couple of moments after you throw out your E, because that way you can guarantee really that you're going to hit them as they're being pulled. So if you land your E, you're guaranteed your Q hit. It's just a little way to speed up your combo. This is very unfortunate. It looks like Fizz is getting absolutely dunked on by the Zed. He's level 4, Zed's level 6, so this isn't really gankable, and also Fizz doesn't really have any CC till level 6, so it's like, all things considered, make this like a very hard gank for us. We're just going to push that in so that the tower doesn't take damage, and so that we don't waste all of that minion EXP. The EXP is much more valuable than the 28 gold you would have gotten if I had cleared everything properly. But of course, once you know that the mid laner isn't here, it's very expected that they're going to go bot. Is there a world? I don't think there's a world in which I can fight Kindred. He's just too damn mobile. No, okay, he backed off. He's going to be heading over mid lane, or he's probably just going to head into clearing his jungle. Fizz should not be doing that, because Zed might show up at any moment. I don't even know that he wins against Kindred. Okay, he got the Kindred. Alright. Not sure if that's worth. I mean, it's obviously good for me, because it lets me snowball my lead even more. And it's probably one of the few ways Fizz is going to get kills. By the way, whenever this happens to you in one of your games, like you're falling very far behind your laner, I very much understand the temptation to just like, hey man, I need this kill. I get that, trust me, I do. But the way to do that isn't to just like dive a turret and hopefully like throw your combo out and get a kill on the enemy jungler. Just run bot. Like, because bot lane is a shared lane with 2 people, they're generally going to be lower in EXP and health than other lanes, and so you can generally take advantage of the fact that bot lane is almost always going to be weak to gank them. So Fizz should just be like going bot lane and killing people. If his blue buff is up, I'm going to take it. If he shows up, I actually kill him. Because I have ulti and he doesn't. Like, it's just that simple, and he can't really get away. It's normally difficult for Mordekaiser to fight Kindred, because Kindred doesn't. Kindred has so much mobility, and Mordekaiser, like, one of the most difficult things on Mordekaiser is to keep up with highly mobile champion. But your Death Realm really just does an excellent job of trapping them in place and keeping them stuck, so they don't really have anywhere to go. And then of course, whatever your HP is, you essentially have 1.5 times that amount of HP, thanks to your W, which it makes you very, very, very exceptionally tanky. Jace has put a control ward up there. This is going to give him a false sense of security, especially since Yone is very low. Jace is going to want to go in on this. This means this is a free kill, assuming I play it correctly, which I'm hoping to do. I'm higher level than the Jace. Very nice. He doesn't have flash. There we go. Just CC him to death. That was actually very well played by the Yone, huh? Because Yone, he was low, so he just backed off, he baited the Jason, and he flashed away from the Jace, and then he just made sure, right, he just absolutely ensured that Jace wouldn't be able to go anywhere once he'd blown the flash, and he ulted in as well, giving us guaranteed CC to land our E. And then, of course, he had his W shield, and then Jace didn't have enough damage to burst him down. So that all ended up working fantastically. Jace even ignited me, which is a massive waste. Kindred is going to be going bot side. I know this for a couple of reasons. I saw her on the minimap going bot side. Secondly, her marks up. No Kindred wants to give up marks when they're freely available. Now, I know that I've allowed the Kindred to get my bot side, and that might appear like I'm giving up the advantage that I've accrued over the Kindred in terms of farming XP. However, I get the Rift Herald for my troubles, and an early Rift Herald is very, very, very powerful, because if you can use the Rift Herald to get some turret plates, it's extremely strong. Looks like bot lane isn't doing too well though, unfortunately, so we will have to start focusing our attention down bot side. But I think it will be completely possible for me to land like another kill on this Jace first, and then we can go. Because I have ulti up, and Jace isn't really a mobile champion. Like, he can jump to you and then he can like bump you away. But he doesn't really have any dashes in his kit other than jumping into us, which, you know, is completely fine by me if Jace decides to jump into us. The reason I'm interested in top lane again is because I know that this is a weak side I can pressure. I'm gonna try to stand out of vision range, walk in, grab this guy. No, that's unfortunate. I'm just gonna help the Yone push this in. Okay, actually, maybe there's a chance I should have like shielded better. Oh, I missed my Q. I'm dumb. Oh, we can kill. We can 100% of the time kill this. I'm gonna pop a refill. Oh my god. Fudge. That's should have ulted him on the spot. I'm sorry. I didn't realize he had a complete dust light up. Classic rookie error. Yeah. Oh my god, the pain. Oh, I felt that. Okay. Alright, Zed. Alright. We need to be getting some armor ASAP. Armor does an amazing job of fighting against lethality. Lethality is flat armor penetration, so the thing about lethal. I should win this. It's very awkward. I feel like if Misfortune had played that a bit better, we would have 100% of the time crushed that. This shouldn't be here. Why are you here? Alright. I could have sworn Kindred was going to take this, but I mean, I'm not going to complain, you know. We are going to go for a chem tank as our mythic. As I said, we need to just make sure that we're surviving burns. Okay. Grump is about to reset, but my hammer does enough damage. So as you can see, I can trigger my passive with just like 3 of anything, like 3 of literally any ability or attack on a, well, except smite. Like summoner spells don't count. I'm trying to walk up behind this Zed here. I'm much stronger than I was when last time he saw me. Okay. Yeah, see? We can definitely... What? Okay. Kindred. Even with Kindred ulti, she can't survive. I'm too tanky. Like, I had my W coming up and my R steals stats. It reduces their stats while increasing mine. So this is amazing because Fizz gets 2 kills. Now, I was already very strong, as you can see, just because of my champion, because those are my power spikes. You know, this champion is like dueling and skirmishing is where he shines. So now I'm just sufficiently, like, given that I was already sufficiently strong, the only question was, like, you know, would I be able to use that to shut down their sufficiently strong player? And it's like, Zed tried to blow a combo on me. I absorbed it with my W. Fizz. No. Bad fish, okay? Is he gonna try to take that? Or, I didn't have to throw out my abilities to take that, but I'm not giving him jungle creeps. Like, yes, I know he got a couple of kills and he would have appreciated some help, but like, I'm much stronger than he is, and I need to ensure that I continue to be much stronger than he is. Like, I'm so much stronger than the Kindred, it's not funny. I'm about to have tier 2 boots completed and my half of my next item. Plus I have my first fully completed item already. So Kindred is like nowhere near that, and I need to continue ensuring that lead to make sure Kindred is useless, because carries don't do anything unless they're dealing damage. And Kindred has utility, but only really in team fights, because she doesn't really have any CC or any healing. It's just like very powerful anti-burst. Yone is backing. I'm just gonna ghost him for this. Jace just used all his abilities and he's not respecting me. We'll walk up, smite him, pull him back. Oh! I'm just gonna walk. This is why I like ghost. Again, that's the item disparity I was talking about earlier. Items definitely very much matter. Kindred can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna walk up and I'm gonna fight this guy because he's low. Well, I am, but I was like 3 levels up on her and still had an item advantage. So there's no universe in which he can get away with that. So we're going to go for a Turbo Chem Tank. As much as I love a Frostfire, actually I might still go for a Frostfire Gauntlet. I love Frostfire Gauntlet. The slow on the auto attack is very, very, very powerful to make sure people don't get away from you. And I might not actually need to like worry or work hard to catch people out this game, because I feel like the Zed will keep coming into me and I have Ghost to work on the other squishies. So, I don't know. I'm not sure about the correct choice between Chem Tank and... I'm not sure about the correct choice between Chem Tank and Frostfire. I can't walk into Drake by myself because I didn't have vision of the Zed. There we are. I'm gonna need help. That's coming, this is bad. We don't want this, we don't want any of this. Oh god. I don't have my... I don't have my R. That's one of the reasons I was playing so scared. If I had my R, I'd be playing a lot more aggressively. Zed just spent his full combo. That makes me a lot less scared, but there's no point in continuing to pursue them any further. Yeah, okay, there we are. If Misfortune wants to take my chickens, that's fine by me. No, she doesn't, okay. Because they're kindred marked, and I'd rather have them off the maps sooner rather than later. Like, obviously you want to deny kindred her marks, but you don't have to, like, do anything absolutely crazy to make sure she never gets a single mark. She'll eventually get her marks. It's just, like, slow her down so that she's very weak early on. Yeah, I will be going for the Rift Herald. The second Rift Herald, though, is a lot less valuable than the first one, oddly enough, because the second one doesn't give you turret plates. So you get to cash it in for a lot less gold. You've got to be like a big successful white. I can kill the Zed if he comes here, by the way. I have a plated steel caps, and I will have a fully stacked W, and I have a demonic embrace. Like, if Zed shows up, he's dead. Alright, mitigate the burst. Zed, like, I will massacre the Zed. He doesn't understand. People really underestimate Mordekaiser's power. And of course I was standing in Kindred ulti, so no chance of me dying. There we are. People just really don't understand how strong Mordekaiser gets when he ults people, because read this, right? Stealing 10% of their core stats. Health, armor, magic resist, ability power, attack speed, you name it. Like, when you steal that many stats, when you decrease it and increase it, like, you become very hard to duel if you're anywhere near even. We are not even. We are very far ahead. The typical guaranteed surrender vote. This is a very winnable game. Yone is strong, Fizz is a powerful champion. I'm very strong. As long as I continue to play smart, my strength will continue to grow. I'm going to recall here. Fizz is trying to do this blue. This is not safe because he's... I could have sworn Yone had that, but it's like, just in case he didn't, I cancelled my back, and it's like I realized, well, if I'm cancelling my back, blue is up anyways. But it looks like Fizz is able to use the blue. Okay, Kindred finally got a mark. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Just transfers a buff to Kindred. Sorry. Kindred's recalling. He's going to be in his bot side jungle because his red buff's coming up. But we get a kill on the Zed, and Yone gets another turret, which is excellent. We're both very strong. Zed's going for a full lethality build, so our tankiness is going to absolutely massacre his ass. Lethality is so bad whenever somebody just stacks armor. I'm confident Yone is going to go for a GA at some point, and that will also negate a large amount of Zed's lethality. Lethality is very good against squishies like Misfortune and Brand who don't have any armor, because then it negates basically all of your base armor, and that ends up meaning you're dealing true damage, and that's very, very powerful. By contrast, when someone is stacking all of this armor, the lethality only increases the amount of damage that you're doing for a very tiny amount. I think, given how the game is going, I am going to go for this Frostfire Gauntlet. And then they don't actually have an insane amount of healing. They have some amount of critting because of Kindred and Caitlyn. So I'm going to go for a Dead Man's Plate into a Randuin's. They don't really have any magic damage to speak of. It's just the Lux. And I mean, yes, Lux is going to be dealing damage, but my Frostfire gives me some amount of MR, and I have so much HP. And Lux has gone for Ludens, not all the Endries, so the HP and basic resistance are good. Oh! If Brand hits that, they do die. Okay. I don't need to use my... Oh! I couldn't land my Q in time. Now, I know that I gave over a big shutdown there, but the thing is, Zed is already as strong as he's reasonably going to be this game, so that's not as relevant. But I traded a shutdown on the Caitlyn. Caitlyn is their primary... Caitlyn is one of the primary threats that hadn't been shut down prior to this point, so I trade 2 kills, defend this turret, and get a shutdown. I think that's worth it for my shutdown, especially because now that Fizz has Rift Herald, like, we get an inhib for that, right? So, like, overall, it's a 2-for-1. Well, I mean, not considering the fact that Misfortune, but, like, Misfortune is not really even a champion. So what are you doing? Just come out of your ulti and kill her. He's dead now. I don't want to sell this control word. I think I'm going to. I can't wait and waste for 10 more gold. It would be a very nice thing to have, but it's like just this dead man's plate. It's going to create so much more pressure. I think I need to head down bot side to guarantee this dragon. Unfortunately, Yone is top side without teleport. But we can't really give over any more dragons, and of course the reason for that is that would put them on soul point. And this duel, I like how it had gone before. Oh! No, you fucking don't. Huh? Dead? Alright. I really didn't think I needed to smite that. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's completely my mistake. We should have had a dragon. Most unfortunate. Demonic Embrace Burn killed him. Really? You're dead. Just pull him in. Where's... Like, does my team know that you can actually, like, see where enemies are gonna come? Alright, we can get Baron off of this. It's unless my team actually wants to try to go for an end here? No, we should 100% go for Baron. What are we doing, guys? There's no point. Like, come Baron. Like, I know I fucked up the Mountain Dragon. I know I fucked up the Mountain Dragon. Doesn't mean I'm gonna fuck it. Are we really ending? There's no way. We were too low. Like, we should be doing this thing. Yeah. Like, you can get a couple of sheath kills, but with death timers, like, not super high, and with us not having a massive wave of minions yet, I'm gonna grab that because I'm gonna smite that because I'm low, and I also want it. And there's like no chance of a steal. They don't really have a global. Like, Lux just used her ulti. It shouldn't be out. And time is Baron. Mordekaiser W, excellent for tanking up objectives. This is very much going to put us, even if not straight up, just ahead in this game. So this was a very nice sequence of plays. It should have been nicer. Yeah, nice strength. I have enough armor. Like, empowered shock blast, massacring and one-shotting people is a myth. It doesn't really happen unless you've got people just not building any armor. I saw people walking around in my jungle, and that scares me, but I'm also a Mordekaiser with my ulti. Fizz looks like he's sufficiently strong enough to be just like running around like an ape and it not mattering. If I can find Zed, I will ult him because he doesn't have his ulti. Ghost. Ghost is good. He shouldn't be able to run away here. There we go. Just waste his flash. Perfect. This is why I love Ghost. It's so much more powerful than Flash. Jace should be dead here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Picture perfect. We can just walk it in now. I haven't really had a chance to recall after Baron, but it's okay. Like, when we did Baron, I didn't have like enough gold to be worth recalling. I definitely have enough gold to be worth recalling now, though. What the fuck? There's no point in us being here. We should be topside. Lux doesn't have any mobility, so she's dead. Yeah. Almost. Just gonna walk in these Baron empowered supers, and that should make life very difficult. Caitlyn cannot stand here. Oh, he went for me instead. Smart. I mean, he went for the misfortune, so I meant to say. I've done my job, though. I just needed to make sure. No. Walk away, guys. Walk away. We need to take this. We need to take this. We need to take this. Yone's not there. He's one of our strongest people. Fizz is there. Fizz doesn't have ulti. He doesn't need the ulti to kill Caitlyn, of course. But Zed and everybody, I feel like they're just gonna like keep trading kills, and that's just like not good for anybody's business. Kindred also has ulti. Apparently, Kindred ulti is irrelevant. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, we should definitely be using Baron buff to push other lanes, because we've already taken the inhibitor mid lane, so mid's going to push by itself, so we don't really need to worry too much about mid lane. We also do have a slow pushing wave up top. Yone looks like he's feeling himself, also looks like he's inting. Thankfully Jace got his kill, and Jace isn't going to be able to do much with that at the moment, because he already doesn't deal damage to us, and the amount of damage he does to Misfortune, the others is not relevant. I don't have much longer left on this Baron buff, but what amount I do have, I'm going to use it to enhance this, push this in, and then I'm going to recall while the last of it remains. Grab a Randuin's, and now, of course, by the way, because of Demonic Embrace, all of this tankiness is being turned into ability power. Like, we're already getting 30 AP, so that puts us over 100 AP, which is a solid amount of AP. Mordekaiser only has 60% AP scalings on his abilities, and then his auto attacks deal damage. So you don't really want to build Mordekaiser full AP. That's not what he's designed to do. I'm going to stand here to absolutely, well, I was saying I wanted to like preclude any chance of a steal. Alright, there we are. Absorb, heal. So now we have a Deadman's, so we can run at people super fast. We have 436 move speed. It's a lot of move speed. Sure, this is fine. I'm not sure what item to go next though. I think like most of the damage I'm taking is physical, so maybe okay, Ultra Luxie. She's the support, yes, but perfectly timed, as all things should be. Looks like Fizz got his people, because like Lux is shielding and Lux is healing and Lux is CC. It's very hard to keep track of when you're fighting people like Zed and Jace who are already mobile. Like I given what I've seen out of this Fizz, I trust that he's going to be able to kill you. Aww. I love Ghost. Did I ever mention how much I love Ghost? Ghost is an amazing summon as well. Yeah, there we go. And that's, come on! Somebody killed the inhibitor! It's like build Mord. Ah, hell yeah, dude. People build Mord way too much AP. Mord doesn't need as much AP as people think they do in order to deal damage. I'm gonna get that. That's unfortunate. How did this Misfortune alive? Why shield? I should shield, but she doesn't shield, bro. I guess Zed must have ended up splitting his damage up. I need to ult somebody. I need to ult somebody now! Haha! There we go. So just a smartly played game, just building well, just ensuring that when we're falling behind, you still have to know that just the kills are not going to end the game. Assassins need to really keep pushing the game forward in order to not lose. Like, as you can see, Zed was very fed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Zed is going to crush. You have to take dragons, you have to take Rift Heralds, you have to push towers, and our push was better. And despite Fizz losing lane, he actually did a very good job of pushing, understanding his limits, recognized once he got a couple of kills in the early game, he used that to kill bot lane. As I was saying, you need to roam and prey on the people who you know are going to be weaker than you. Kindred was obviously very bad, so we were able to take full advantage of that. We had free reign in the jungle, and once Kindred falls behind, it just sucks to play her because she's an ADC in the jungle. ADCs already need a lot of gold to be relevant, and Kindred, outside of dealing damage, it's just, she doesn't do much. So it's just a very good game of just making sure that we press our advantage, we build well. Because imagine if I'd gone full AP and kept getting one-shot by the Zed, right? Like, then this never happens. But just knowing that I'm sufficiently tanky to be able to fight Zed, knowing that my ult allows me to fight him in an extended skirmish much better than allows him to burst me down, just having all of that information and just applying it to not, like, you know, randomly dive people on a turret, but like to pick fights under objectives, to gank the Jace that you know is going to be aggressive, to ignore the bot lane that you know is going, even if you gank it, they're going to lose. So you just focus on trying to get ahead the people you can get ahead, try to plug the bleeding, try and shut down their very strong member. Mordekaiser is excellent, one of the best champions in the game, shutting people down, because of your R, you can just literally take someone out of a fight. And in this elo, almost nobody ever builds a Quicksilver Sash, which can get rid of Mordekaiser ulti. That's 1300 gold you have to spend on a magic resist item. So it's not the worst thing in the world, even if everybody does get a quick QSS, because then you can still be a very nice frontliner. But when people don't build QSS, you just like walk up to them, press R, and kill them. Like, even very mobile champions like Zed and Kindred, as you could see, they had a very hard time just getting away from Ghost Mordekaiser, because you want to juke out Mordekaiser's E. Because that pulls him to, but then when you're juking, you're just moving this way and that, Mordekaiser's just like walking at you with Ghost, and it's just like auto-attacking you, and then once he auto-attacks you, the Frostfire slows you. So because I knew that that's how this game was going, Frostfire would make more sense than Turbo Chem Tank, because I didn't really have trouble going to people, because it's like everybody on the enemy team was constantly kept looking for fights, so I knew that fights were going to come to me. So that's why I went for the Frostfire instead. I didn't go for Sunfire because it was not like I was going to stand in the middle of a bunch of people and just like keep blowing up and dealing a bunch of damage. The extra HP from the Frostfire, the slow, I thought would be more valuable. So that's why I went for this. And then I could have gone for Zhonya's instead of this Randuin's, but I like the idea of an extra slow, and as you can see, it didn't end up mattering much. Like, you deal so much damage thanks to the conversion from the Demonic Embrace. So you can definitely go for like Zhonya's instead of one of these armor items, but I like HP and I like making sure that I'm never gonna die, because ultimately it was my undiability, standing in the middle of the enemy team, making sure that people just had to run the fuck away from me, just using that fact to my advantage. Like, I didn't just thoughtlessly keep diving the backline in the last fights there, right? I was a backline threat, they had to walk away from me, but then when the Zed goes back in on my carries, I walk back up, and then Zed has to respect that I'm there, so he has to walk away. So it's just really about how you're positioning yourself. Obviously, don't miss your skill shots. If you don't miss your skill shots, you're gonna have a better time than if you do miss your skill shots. But as you can see, I didn't play. I missed a bunch of stuff, and it's still fine because I'm where I need to be in order to make sure the enemy team can't push through damage. So let's take a look at the graphs. Highest damage in the game. I actually thought Fizz or Yone might have done more, but I guess I was fighting people enough. That's the thing. Damage taken, obviously that should be the highest. I was the main frontliner. Damage to objectives, I expect this to be fairly high because I took a bunch of Rift Heralds, Baron, and Dragons. We should have had one more Drake. That's completely my bad. I didn't think I needed to smite, or that a J-Skew would deal so much, or that a J-Skew would somehow find a way to slip in through the cracks. Made this mistake a couple of times before I need to stop doing that. Highest gold in the game. Vision, I don't expect to have as high a score as some of the other people on my team, but I guess I do. So that's that. Well then, your support should definitely have a much higher vision score because he literally has a warding totem. I suppose you just never used it. It's okay. Bot lane was bad. Zed preyed on the fact that bot lane was bad, but then we had a couple of Fed people who were able to deal with their bot lane, and I was personally responsible for shredding the odds of this. So just a good example of smart, objective-focused play, recognizing your win conditions and playing accordingly. Hope you enjoy this game. Have a wonderful day. Until next time, peace.